Quinn Lord. I should have introduced him. So Quinn played Sam, in case anybody didn't know. Jean-Luc was in the skull mask, murdered, of course. Mr. Dylan Baker. Mr. Brian Cox. As we have a surprise guest, you might know him from his feature directing work. I know him as an all-around awesome dude, Mr. Bryan Singer. And the master of it all, Mr. Michael Dougherty. So guys, you might not know this, but today is actually Mike Dougherty's birthday. It's his actual birthday, and so there is, of course, a cake. If we could bring out this cake. All right. So everybody with me. Well, we can, but we'll do an abbreviated version. Happy birthday to you right now. Happy birthday, dear Michael. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
All right, guys, let's get this started. So, Mike,
Are we going to cut the cake?
I mean, people are going to want pictures of that. It's pretty special.
All right.
And then we can cut it later with something really sharp. So, guys, I don't know if you know this, but Sam is actually here. General, okay, great. So, Mike, well, I'll ask everybody. Let's just start with most memorable moments. This had to be a very complicated shoot. It was really detailed in every aspect. What is your most memorable thing from making it?
There's so much. I really enjoyed throwing the school bus over the cliff. That was fun because it was a marriage. We did a full-size short bus and threw that over a cliff, and then we had a miniature for the actual sinking shot. That was a pretty crazy day because it was completely pouring and raining. It was awesome Vancouver weather, and we thought we would have to rewrite the scene so it was completely raining, and then all of a sudden the sun just opened up, golden rays of light.
Just long enough to murder those kids.
Exactly.
Brian, you've done all kinds of. I'm sorry, Singer first, then I'll get to you. Yeah, you've done all different kinds of movies, but this was something that you chose to produce. What attracted you to it? What made you want to make this movie?
That was the script and Mike's real passion for not just the story, but also the subject matter for Halloween in general. Mike and I worked together on movies and X-Men and things like that. How I got to first know him was through an animated short he did, which is kind of the precursor to this. It's this beautiful piece of animation with the Sam character in it. And I just knew he'd make a really special movie. And we both love these kinds of films. We grew up in the 80s and Creepshow and stuff like that.
We're warped.
just about that short. So that was your NYU project, right?
Yeah, it was a 3-minute animated short, all hand-drawn before these fancy computers took over. Like 16 millimeter film, every single cell hand painted, and it introduced Sam. It's on YouTube, and I think it's on the DVD. But that kind of became my calling card for a while until this became the calling card.
Was that something really important to you? Because Halloween is something that you love, being so close to your birthday, obviously. Did you know at the time that you were creating such an iconic character, almost a keeper of Halloween?
Well, I mean, that was kind of the goal, because Halloween doesn't have a mascot. Every other
Jack
holiday.
Skellington's like the closest thing we get.
Or Michael Myers, and I love Carpenter's film, but it didn't have sort of the playful side of the holiday that I really like. Because we send our children dressed up as monsters into the darkness to break the first rule of childhood, which is don't talk to strangers and don't take candy, except for tonight. So I think it really screws with kids' heads. And I think that sort of mischievous side of it didn't come out in other horror films.
Well, let's talk about that from a kid's perspective. Quinn, how old were you when you played this part?
I was about 7 years of age, and I remember one of the most memorable parts of shooting that amazing film was the first day of shooting, actually. I got on set, and Michael's like, "Oh, come over here," and he's like pointing to the monitor, and I'm like, "Oh, what's this?" And he's like, he presses play on the monitor, and it's just the scene of Charlie just puking all over the stairs, and I'm like, "Oh my god, that's awesome!"
That was our go-to. If it was a stressful day, the video guys would play that back on a loop. You know, it would just keep going, and we had it up to like 12 minutes at one point, just constant vomit.
Well, I know that you were into all kinds of super creepy, scary stuff when you were a kid. But Quinn, I'm curious, were you into scary stuff? Because I saw behind the scenes, and you looked very at home on this set. Do you feel like this was influential to you later, or was this stuff that you were already into?
About Quinn, one, after you did this movie, you end up voicing Linus for the Peanuts,
Yeah,
which is really full circle for me because this film and the short that inspired it were very much inspired by Charlie Brown. So the fact that you got to play the Great Pumpkin and then play Linus in some form, like, and then one day your parents came to set and said that you never broke character even when you were at home.
Mike, one of the things that I'd love to talk about, not to focus on this too much, but this is a kind of anthology movie, very much like a movie like Creepshow or even The Twilight Zone. And that's a very difficult movie to get made and to especially make right. And this film, you know, it's been through a lot, but we're all really here tonight because the fans were so supportive, both in person, online, as this community has grown. The passion of that fan base, how has that changed the interpretation of this movie? Like, do you want to talk a little bit about what you've been through versus how the reception is now? Because everybody
Is this a therapy session now?
Yeah. Mike, it's your birthday. We should talk about positive things.
It goes back to my mother. No, it's been great. I mean, I think, you know, it's rare for a film to grow over time. Usually it's, you know, a big splash and then it kind of fades into DVD. So for this film to kind of continue to grow, I think it's really nice for us because we all spent a lot of time and energy working on it. So to see it continue to just develop its fan base, and for the fans to remain supportive, it just feels really great because it did have a very weird, difficult path.
All things that are special really do. Brian Cox, I've seen you in so many films. I'm a huge fan of yours, and you, right? The first thing I saw you play was the original Hannibal Lecter in Manhunter. The first things I ever saw you was incredible. But you tend to play like bad dudes. You tend to play these guys that are complicated and have a lot of darkness in them. Even in like LIE, you play a character that is, you know, like scary in a lot of ways. What attracted you to this part? Was it Mike? Is it because you? Why choose? Why this?
It was principally Mike. You know, I have to confess, I never read Trick or Treat. I never read it because I never had time to read it, and I got somebody to tell me the story. I mean, also this guy, he was the other person who was saying
No slouch. Yeah.
He said, "You've got to do this," and I said, I don't know," because I was, you know, working, doing other stuff, and I didn't have a chance to read it. So I decided on an experiment. It was a rare experiment. I decided that they told me what it was about and what the character was, and he had this little kind of munchkin figure who kind of sort of pursued him for most of the movie, and I thought, okay. I thought, well, it's Halloween. I want to look like John Carpenter. And so I decided that I would have makeup that made me look like John Carpenter. But unfortunately, I'm a little bigger than John Carpenter. So I ended up looking more like Jerry Garcia from the Grateful Dead than John Carpenter. So then I said, okay, I'm just going to stick to the fact that I don't know what the script is. So I arrived, and I just said to Michael, you have to tell me what to do. And I tell you something, from an acting point of view, it was one of the most liberating things I've ever done in my life. Because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. and I
The things I could have done with you had I known that. I could have just screwed with you the whole time.
You could have screwed with me, whatever you like, but you just said, do this. I said, what do I do now, Michael? Do this. I said, what do I say? You say this. I said, I do that. And it was fantastic. It was a fantastic experiment in just giving yourself over and saying, well, okay, what do you want? Okay, I'll do that. Yeah, bye.
I have always thought you were so present in every moment.
Well, I was present. Well, but that makes you more present in the moment because you don't have any time to prejudge the character or think about what did this character have for breakfast or what he does. You're just doing what he does. And I didn't even know he killed these kids. So at the end of the movie, when these little creatures arrive, I thought, what the fuck's going on here? And then I suddenly said, oh, you actually killed these people. And I didn't know.
That's going to change. So I had a question from Worm91 on Twitter who asked Brian, what part of the script made you want to be in the movie? So I'll move past that.
It was the director, writer, author. That was what made me want to be in the movie.
Absolutely. He's incredibly convincing. Dylan, I feel like this was around the same time or not long after Happiness had come out. Is that about right?
It was, I think about 5 years after that. Or
After that.
Yeah, something
So
like that.
you'd played some creepers too.
It's a stage full of creepers.
Well, no, but each one of the creepers in this movie, there's nobody who is completely one way or the other. Like even you, Jean-Luc, your character is doing some bad things, but gets to be almost
starts
redeemed.
off as like
Is
the
that best?
bully kind of, and then big-eyed kind of you fall in love with him a little bit, maybe. Hopefully, I don't know. Let's hope so. Kind of played the two different sides. I think I think Schrader's girlfriend was persuading him. He's kind of a victim of that.
Give him the benefit of the doubt.
Totally.
There's a lot of duality in this movie. There is no character that is as they seem. There is no element that is as it seems. One of my favorite things about it is that it seems to take from each point in your life. Each point you can have perspective on Halloween. You've got the very little kids. You've got the teenagers where it's more mischievous. You've got the older kids where it's more sexualized. You've got the adults who are sort of over it, having their own drunken party, down to the guy who's saying, "Get off of my lawn." Was that? I mean, talk about that for a second.
That was kind of the intent, was to look at how Halloween is celebrated at different points in your life. So yeah, like one of my first memories of Halloween was carving a jack-o'-lantern with my dad and him explaining what Halloween was. And as a 3 or 4 year old, it blows your mind because it's like a holiday just made for kids. And then as you get older, you stop trick-or-treating with your parents and you're hanging out with your friends and you all turn in like little assholes for the night, and you're egging houses and toilet papering and I got mugged and you have all this sort of the adolescent Halloween.
I'm sorry, I was younger when I mugged you.
And then when you get, older into your 20s, it's about sex. And have you seen the amount of sassy costumes at the Spirit Halloween store this year?
Somehow we're through the looking glass, and it's not even ironic to point out that Halloween is over-sexualized.
Oh, there was slutty Michael Myers costume for women.
Although one thing that you did, I just wanted to point this out because it was such a neat effect. In the very beginning, you show, and it's Quinn, right, as the little boy that's peeping on the girls.
Yes, that's Quinn. That was Quinn out of the Sam costume, playing the peeping Tom
It's
kid.
a fun little twist.
Yeah.
But just the parallel in that scene of seeing each of those girls put their costume on and the incredible sexualization of that, and then seeing them as werewolves pulling these flesh suits off to reveal their true form. I just thought that was such a neat parallel.
Thank
That's
you.
all. You're cool, Mike.
All right.
I like your art. So let's, what do you think, guys? The audience got some questions for these folks? Would it be crazy to open the floor to an audience? Do we have a microphone for that kind of thing?
Or just want to stand up and yell.
Or you could stand up and yell. All right, you, sir, in the front row.
I was just curious about the creative process of creating the intricate storylines.
Question about the creative process and creating all the intricacies of the storyline?
Well, the movie was never... Originally, they were just a collection of shorts. 2 of the stories I had actually written when I was in film school, just as like homework assignments for my first year writing class. And that was the Dylan story and Anna Paquin story, were basically film school assignments. And then when I moved to LA, people said, "Oh, you should write a spec," and I just didn't know how to write a screenplay, so I figured, well, I'll just smash these 4 stories together and call it my spec. And I also had a love
I think D'Souza did the same thing.
yeah, and I had a love for anthology films because they just aren't made anymore. And I thought, well, this will be the next big thing after Scream, because it was around the time we had the Scream knockoffs. You know, we had like I Know What You Did Last Summer, and it was a lot of like 20-something pretty people staring at on the poster, and I thought, well, we'll bring back the anthology. And
Oh shit!
what? Oh, hi. Here I am rambling.
Hey there, Sam. It looks like you have a birthday.
It's a birthday card.
Uh-oh.
It says make a sequel. I'd like to. I don't have authority in this, so
Is there-
you have to go.
Is there anybody here who has authority?
Thomas Tull, head of Legendary, is somewhere in the audience.
Thomas here?
Stand up. There he is.
Thomas, we've got a blood request here.
Yeah.
I'm not saying no to Sam, so.
Yeah.
So. All right, let's make trick or treat too. That would be great.
Well, gosh, guys, I honestly don't know if we even top that.
I don't know.
I don't
In
know. if we
Hollywood,
could.
it's that easy.
It keeps disappearing on us.
Every time you look at it, it's like a
Yeah. So I guess. All right.
Well, guys, there it is. Now it's. It seems official. Okay, good. Well,
I don't know. Is that?
yes.
Okay.
All right.
Let's
All
do
right.
it.
All right. All right. We'll do it.
Everybody who has already died, maybe there's a way to bring them back.
Ghosts and zombies are forever. Yeah.
Well, guys, I would love to thank all of you for coming. On behalf of everybody that organized this event, thank you everybody for showing up. Those posters are pretty awesome. You should grab
I
one.
mean, there's gifts on the way out.
If we could get a round of applause for the cast, for Brian, for Michael. Happy birthday, buddy. Thanks, guys.